this was like a good like time, even if it is just for 3 minutes watching me perform, they forget about like whatever's going on. Like that's like such a special part to me because, like life
Yeah.
can be so bad. But
Yeah.
if I can make someone happy for like just that couple of minutes and things like that.
Hey, thank you so much for coming back to a Dancer's Perspective podcast where you get to listen to some pretty interesting performers and their perspective about their training, work in the industry, and how they navigate their career. I am Chavonne, I am your host, and as always, I appreciate your love and support behind the podcast. Just a friendly reminder that this podcast is all about friendly conversation and not a professional help platform. And all content has been approved by all parties involved, and the perspective and opinions from the individuals are that of their own. I am so excited to get into today's episode as it is with a dear friend of mine who is discussing all things drag. Make sure you follow them on their socials and continue to give the podcast support as we build this community together. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited for this podcast because I'm here with a dear friend who we used to dance together, Chavonne, or Eliza, as some of you may know her, and we're here to talk about all things drag. So hello, lovely. How are you?
Hello, hello. How are we?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, good. Better for seeing you. It's been way too long.
It's been way too long. It's been a
Absolutely.
hot minute.
It
Like
has
we did like
actually.
ministry training together.
We did. Absolutely, we did. Yeah, that's where we met, which was amazing.
Yeah, it was a
And
time.
now it's been, well, like that means we've been friends for like nearly 10 years now.
Literally, it's crazy to think that that's how long we're in full time with and doing all those days and all those training. And now look at us.
And
Look
now
at
look
us
at us.
evolved.
Absolutely. Oh my God, we were actually babies back then and we didn't know anything. We probably thought we
100%.
did.
Yeah, 100%. We were like, I know everything in the industry, and now I'm like, babe, you did not know anything.
Absolutely not. Oh my God, but that was a fun time.
It was a fun time. Well, why don't you go with introducing yourself, telling us a bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Well, my name is Sean. I still say, yeah, I'm a professional dancer, of course.
Of
But now
course.
I am also known as Eliza Lot. That is my drag name, and I've been doing drag now for the last 5 years. So I've been doing that for the last 5 years. I started in lockdown, just because before lockdown, I guess I should go back to the start, I guess. Back to the start when I was 18 and I moved to Melbourne to go to Ministry of Dance for full time. Um, Obviously wanting to be a dancer. I've been dancing since I was 9. Moved over, got the shock of my life, I guess. I guess from going like from a small town, a small town dancer to I guess the big leagues and just trying to navigate moving away from home for one. I'd never moved out of like a single house before. I grew up in the same house, so even that was just crazy. And then yeah, moving over here and deciding to do that, going to ministry. Um yeah, I guess that's where it all started. And that's where we became friends as well.
100%.
Absolutely. But yeah, so after all that, like with drag, I've been doing drag for the past 5 years and been doing it full time for the last year and a half as well. So that's just amazing.
Amazing, amazing. And how did you come up with your drag name and your persona? Like, I'm very intrigued to hear this story.
Oh, true. Actually, I mean, I feel like it's not as exciting as like it's a lies a lot. So if you don't get the pun, I lies a lot. Pathological, of course. But I actually don't really think that I don't really think that I do. I feel I like to say I'm pretty truthful and honest. But
Yes.
it was one time and we're in lockdown and I just started and um I did have another drag name before that. Um,
What was it?
um, it's not very appropriate, I'll give you that much.
Okay.
But I just
All
say the
right.
name, it was Chanel Down.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
yes,
Yep.
we don't need to go any more into that. Um, but I had that, so we were just all sitting around, and that was just a fun name when my housemate had put me in drag another time.
Yeah.
So with Eliza Lot, I always, even when I was like doing backup dancing as a boy, I always used the product Thin Lizzy. And so, and
Cute.
everyone always used to not make fun of me, but they used to always be like, "Oh, like popping a Thin Lizzy on." And I was like, "Yeah, I would go out to the club and I'd be popping my Thin Lizzy on." And so I was like, "Oh, Thin Lizzy is so fun! Like that's awesome." And then I literally Googled it, and there's a queen in Brisbane that is Thin Lizzy. So I was like, "Oh, that's done." Then I was like, "Oh, like Lizzy Thin or like something like that," because I'm not Thin. I was like, Lizzie Thin's funny, but I was like, too close. And then I think it was just one of my friends, like, they were like, Lizzie, like Eliza. And then I think it just came out, and I don't want to claim that I did it because there was a couple of people
Right.
around, but then it just came up Eliza Lot, and it's just stuck ever since. I'd never wanted to change it.
Amazing. Amazing.
But it is good fun, and I do like it. I don't know. I feel like the joke that I go with is obviously I'm lying about something, which is I'm a man dressing up as a woman. So that's the first lie. So it's all downhill from
Yep.
there.
Or uphill, depending on how you look at it.
Absolutely.
Well, you said that you started in COVID. Is that how you got into drag, or is like talk us through? Was it just like a bit of fun one day, and then you're like, "Hey, no, actually, I can take this seriously." Like, talk us through that
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah, so I think yeah, like because obviously before I was doing that, I was doing backup dancing and things like that, and absolutely loving it. I don't think I was working at the time before that, so I was just doing backup dancing, so just trying to get the gigs and things like that, and
Yeah.
everything kind of just led into like obviously being gay myself, going into the gay scene and doing go-go dancing, and I was always like with the drag queens and stuff like that, and it honestly never
Yeah.
really appealed to me at all. Like I didn't there wasn't like I didn't like do it and I was like, I want to be that. I think it just like slowly came around, and then I think like through COVID, like it was just one day and one of my friends were like, oh, like let's do this. One of my housemates, because I had a few at the time, which was great through COVID. And so we just
Yeah.
sat there and did it, and I was like, oh, this is fun. I kind of like it, even though I looked absolutely horrible, like so bad. Like it was, I look back on the photos now and I probably would have sent it to you and you would have been like, yeah, you look amazing. And I was like, liar, absolute lies. Um, but yeah, like I think it was just that. And then, yeah, just, like just going through that. And I think with COVID, I had a lot of time to just really put it into it. And I guess COVID, especially being in Melbourne, was so hard. And I
Mm,
wasn't able to have like that artistic, like creative, like release as I would if I was, practicing for a show or like, doing like
yeah.
go-go or things like that. So I think it kind of like made like my like kind of saving grace, I guess, has given me something to focus on. And
Yeah.
then once we were able to go out and like just like obviously leave the house and things like that, it just started becoming like more and more fun, um and just like such a part of me, and I was like, I really like this. And I think it was really like a light bulb moment of being like, oh, like with my dancing and then like with creativity, like this is where it can meet. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it sounds so lame, but it just definitely feel there was like a moment I was like, oh, this is like what I'm supposed to do.
Oh,
Like
amazing.
yeah, because I feel as though through when we did full-time dance, and there's been like an amazing shift within the industry, I feel. But when I went there, it was like, you're a boy, you're gonna dance like a boy. And
Yeah.
I always would get those kind of critiques of being like, like you need to dance a bit more masculine and things like
Yeah.
that, which at the time, not saying that it was wrong or anything like that, but at the time, like that's what it was. If you wanted to go and do things like I wanted to be a cruise ship dancer, so I had to be strong, I had to be things like that. And still with that stuff it
Mm,
is, but I feel like there's a bit more of a range. And I wasn't we weren't really kind of like pushed to kind of explore that either. As
yeah.
like males when when I was going through full time anyway, we weren't unfortunately allowed to do like the heels classes and things like that. We had to like we weren't allowed to do it, but then, whenever we had something that was like a little bit more fun, we're allowed to do it. But it wasn't really pushed as that way, whereas I don't regret a thing. Absolutely, like it was such an experience, like going through full time and doing my contract and things like that. But I do just sometimes wonder if I had have had that outlet there, would
Yeah.
Eliza be like 10 years old now, and where would she be? But very
Yeah.
happy with how everything
Right.
worked out.
Very interesting, isn't it? Very, very
It
interesting to
is.
have
Yeah,
that
like
thought and
I definitely feel as though like everything firm believer, everything happens for a reason, but it's just you kind of have that one
100%.
little thought being like, if I was allowed to like pop a heel on, like and do that kind of stuff, maybe back then I would have been more, I don't know, like it would just would have been like push me more in that direction to explore that side instead of spending so much time maybe not necessarily not doing what I wanted, but maybe exploring that and intertwining and coming to the realization that, yeah, this is something that I want to do.
Yeah, yeah, no, of course, of course. Well, talk us to like the start of your journey then. I know you were like, if you showed me pictures, you'd be like, oh, babe. Talk us through like how you went accumulating costumes, how you went with makeup, how you went with like performance quality, styling, networking, like all that
Yeah.
fun stuff.
Well, I mean, I think with drag is so unregulated as an industry, right? So
Right.
I started in COVID, I did my makeup, popped a wig on, and you're a drag queen. Like there's
Yeah.
no real kind of like I feel like with dancing, you're like you've got to dance like your whole life, or there are those
Yeah.
like people that come in and they just smashed out of the park and they've just, at it maybe at like, 18, 19, but the normal way, I won't say normal, the most regular way is to go, go through dance school, go to full time, do your auditions, do that, and you make your way up. Whereas I feel with drag, there's no regulation. So I kind of just like did it and got it and then started. I was really fortunate that I had lots of friends that could help me out.
Yeah.
And when also like the biggest probably shout out is when we're in COVID, obviously, because so I've been doing it for 5 years, but like two of those years were pretty much in COVID. So
Right.
there was what's it called? Like a game. It's like a game?
I
A
remember
show.
this was on Zoom, right? And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
like
yeah.
people could
Yeah,
watch
which I
you. I
probably was
remember
like,
this.
hey
Yes.
babe, like come and watch me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I love my friends. So yeah, it was called Drag Roulette, and so I actually
That's
got to
it.
perform in drag for probably like a year in and out, just like not even leaving the house. So that was
Yeah.
awesome, and a lot of like stuff with that, like um there's like just so many like getting costumes and things like that as well, even to just do that and wigs. It's always like I really love like a second hand, like because some
Yeah.
people now that I am like a bit more established and I have like saved my money and things like that, if there is a certain outfit I want, like I will go to a designer and I have a designer that does stuff for me and they're amazing. But those things do as they should because as you would know as well, like costumes cost money and the better quality you want,
100%.
they're gonna cost more. So
Yeah.
yeah, like that part of it becomes like comes in a little bit later and you're like, oh okay, cool. Like so I have been getting these outfits for, $100 secondhand, but this $1,000 costume that I want designed fitted to my body is gonna be like that. So you have to really make that
Yeah.
um make that work. But yeah, definitely that start of it was very I was very, very lucky. And I feel as though I did have a nice kind of I did work my ass off,
Yeah.
obviously, to
Obviously.
get where
Yes.
I was. But
Yep.
my thing was like taking cover shifts, so people knew that I could also perform already,
Yeah.
which was like a little bit of a hindrance at the start. I got a lot of pushback from more established queens saying like, "Oh, it's just short in a week. Like, there's no character
Right.
there. There's like nothing else. It was just that. And on it, like 100% back looking on it, it was like I watched my old
Right.
videos and I was like, I'm a dancer. I'm gonna go on that stage and I'm gonna have like every 8 count of this down. Like, and as I
Yeah.
progressed, I'm like, that's actually not what drag is about, really, at all. It's about, performing the song and getting the emotion through, not like I love an 8 count, of course. I'm always going to do a cut or I'm going to do a split,
Always.
but there's also the character behind it and the song and the meaning and everything like that, which in dancing, you can portray that through obviously every movement, but that's not what the audience sort of wants in this part. And there's so many
Yeah.
different parts for like making it funny and things like that. So yeah, definitely that part of it is was very like a bit of a rude awakening. But I also really love that because again, like saying that like it's very unregulated of who is at the top. because you could be like at the
Mm.
top of this part of it, but not this part. So there's, I guess, like dancing, there are so many parts of it that have to all come together for you to do it. Whereas I had the dancing aspect, I was like, oh, I can do it,
Yeah.
and these people can't dance. But for the start, when I was on a microphone, it wasn't as good. And I was like, oh, like this is an aspect that I need to work on in regards to that, which I feel with, going through musical theatre and stuff did help. But again, it's just a whole nother realm that you're in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a
And
lot.
it's a lot. And
It's a
looking at
lot.
like looking at it like now in like your comparison, like how do you think your style has changed and who you are when you come on stage? Like I know you're like you love a count. Where now are
Mm.
you more like that funny character? Like talk us through your whole persona and who you are as a drag queen.
Yeah, okay. So I think that like I feel like I've said like so like drag is just so different depending on like who you are and what you want to do. There's some people like
Mm.
best example, last night I went to Granny Bingo, and
Yes.
that is like they've actually I've seen them not doing their granny bingo, but I've seen them at events, and they're absolutely hilarious. And they're drag queens and they just dress up as grannies, and they are actually hilarious. Like I was actually crying doing this drag bingo. And in regards to that, I feel as though there's people that do drag and it is a completely different character. Like, so I know the person that does granny bingo and they're completely different out of drag. Like, you
Yeah,
wouldn't even
right.
know. But then I feel
Right.
like with Eliza is a bit more, and this is the second part of it, I feel, as there's a lot of queens, it's more of an extension of Sean. So I think that
Yeah.
Eliza, she is a different character, but more of just like, she's me, but just hyper feminine, a bit more feminine. Was that hyper? A bit more feminine than me, because obviously, yes. But no, and I do like that, and like I think that like in or out of drag, I do have like the same sort of energy, but Eliza just takes it to 100. And obviously,
Yeah.
being in drag, you can get a lot away with like a lot more like than I can just as myself as well. Um, but yeah, really building on that was yeah, like I said before, knowing I was like, oh, I'm a dancer, that's easy, like it's done, I'm gonna be the best
Yeah.
performer out. But that's not what people want. Like some people want campy, fun things. And I think it was kind of just like seeing how like I can put this part of the dancing here and still like this is like my main thing, but I also can be really funny. I love hosting now on a microphone. Like being at like a drag
You're
bingo
so
and
good at
things
it.
like that at the start, I was like, oh, like I want to do it, but I don't feel like I was like, I feel like I'm a funny person, but not sure if I'm like funny as in like the jokes and things like that. But now I've actually like grown to absolutely love that. I had a lot of experience when I first got out of lockdown. I covered, I don't even know who it was or why they let me cover because
Yeah.
I looked horrible. And I didn't know my style at all. Like, oh my God, it's so bad. And I did, but I thought I did. This is the thing, like I had that delusion, which I think is so important, is that I was like, oh no. And I started at Evie's Disco Diner in Fitzroy. I started there being their karaoke host. And so
Cute.
it did like I went there, did like I was there for like 4 hours every Thursday. It was packed. I was on the microphone introducing the next person, chatting a little bit with my other host, which was Deja. That's where we both kind of got our starts. And I think
Yeah.
just over all that time and like getting like more comfortable being on the microphone and refining everything, then like it really came to a whole, I reckon like 2 or 3 years later when you kind of like I'm like, oh, like this is what I want to do. And I look back now and I even say to my housemate Hayden all the time, he's like, yeah, but you would go out in like a wig that didn't match your outfit. I would always wear the same black skirt over any leotard.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot. But yeah, I think that, getting into that is just finding out who I was through the experience of actually doing it, which, like
Yeah.
in anything, there's no better like learning than actually just going in and doing it and being chucked in the deep end, and just going for it. And I'm very thankful that I was there for another, like after I took that cover, they said, oh, do you want to take on this as a regular gig? And obviously someone just getting into it. I was like, oh my God, yes. I was there for another two
Absolutely.
years, like doing it every Thursday, and I started a trivia there. So I do give a lot of my thanks definitely to Evie's for letting me be there and learning on the job.
Yeah, fair. No, no, fair. So from like your start where you started, you've recently performed on the main stage of Midsummer Festival as well, right?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Talk
That
us through
was
that.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. I literally get goosebumps even just like thinking about that because it's just Midsummer is just I've been going to Midsummer for oh my gosh, when was it? I feel like maybe like five years or something like that. Obviously through COVID we didn't get to do it, but I've always just loved it because I'm obviously just so gay and I just love seeing all the other gays and all my other like queer like everybody there just celebrating and I love that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, I got approached to do that through my amazing agency Drag 2 that I work for, who I like, they are just amazing. Like, they're amazing company that I work for, and I just can't praise them enough. And they're very well looked after me very well. Um, and I got to do that through them, and things like that. But yeah, it was just like an incredible experience to go to an event that um. It's like I was like, oh, I'm gonna go anyway. Like I'm gonna be there. I don't go in drag because I like to be out of drag for that, but it just was like
Yeah.
to go to something that's so special to you and then to be actually like being there and then and just the turnout as well. Um, with like people coming to watch me and things like that. Obviously, I have so many supportive friends that will always be there to back my ideas and tell me I'm gorgeous and beautiful, even though when I might not be, but then I will grow into that, so that's fine. But just like all my, I shouldn't say fans, just like all my friends and the people that come and watch me and like support me and just being like, yeah, like we're coming, like we can't wait to see you, and like everyone knows how much of a big deal like to be on that stage is. So that was very it's like a bit of a surreal experience. And I was actually like, I don't really get nervous kind of for any gigs anymore. Like I do, obviously I get a little bit nervous of like, um,
Like
I don't
excitement.
know. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh, I hope they like me. Like, but I know I'm gonna like have fun and things like that. And because on a side note, like another like big part of what I do is private events, like hens
Yeah.
parties.
Yeah.
So, and with that, that has really taken away not the nervousness, but I'm going into a place with like, anywhere from 10 to 50 people that I've never seen before in a probably in like a hotel or a Airbnb or some restaurant private room. I have no idea the space that I'm performing in and or like if my jokes are even going to land with this audience. So being in those environments, I'm like, it takes it away because I'm like, I'm just gonna go in, I'm gonna do myself, like they're gonna love it, and yeah, I think that that's definitely helped like a lot as well. But yeah, Midsummer was definitely an actual dream, so I'm very glad. If I never get to do it again, I'm like, well, I've done it once, so
And like a whole 360 rotation.
absolutely, yeah, yeah, so good. That's just yeah, my favorite. I think when I first came out as gay, I went to that event like not too long after, and I think it was like just such an experience just to be there and be like, oh my gosh, like these are my
Yeah.
people, and there's so many people here celebrating being ourselves, and I was like, oh, this is just like heaven.
It's a very special thing for you.
Yeah, and it does
I
a lot
can't
for our
imagine.
community as well, like having all those events. Like, so that was the Midsummer Carnival. So that always there's the big three events there that do that is the Midsummer Carnival, the
Yeah.
Pride Parade, which is so they go every Sunday. Carnival, and then the parade, and then they have the North Side party as well, which is
Yeah.
always like super amazing too. I did that one like 2 years ago, and it was just amazing, like dancing in the middle of the street and having like all these people just like stop around. And again, it's just a big celebration of being like in a part of our community. So absolutely love doing anything that has to do with that.
Amazing, amazing. Well, what have you found like the most challenging thing about drag?
Um, the most challenging thing, I guess, what I said before with going into it and then people being like, oh, it's just short in a wig, like it's nothing.
Mm.
And that was challenging, but also it did kind of make me think. And I think that there's a there's a drag is. not for the faint-hearted. Like you can't, there's
Hmm.
the older drag queens and the more established drag queens, like they are going to help you so much, but they're also going to like just like read you down and things like that. If your like lace is popping or like you haven't cleaned your lace or your outfit's like maybe like I don't know, like falling apart, like they're gonna tell you. And they're gonna,
Yeah.
it's gonna be so shady, but you're gonna be like, oh, thank you so much, because and I like I remember like the amount of times that drag queens would just say like little shady things, and I'm like pretty confident and pretty like thick-skinned going through,
Yeah.
what we've been through as dancers and things like that. I think you have to be.
Hmm.
But yeah, there was even times where I was like, why are they so mean to me? Like, why are they saying that? And then again, now looking back, I'm like, oh, you know, that was right. That was right to say that, and it has helped. Maybe their what is it? Maybe their tone or like the delivery could have been better, but like that's honestly like that's just drag. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was definitely the hardest thing was starting, and I think that sometimes um knowing your worth and is like such a hard thing. Again, just being in the entertainment industry, not wanting to like you want to take everything, and that was my biggest thing. I was like, that's how I've got my residency that I've been for at Osborne. Osborne Sundays. I've been there for 3 years. I got that from a cover. I just covered
Yeah.
one day. Someone's like, "Can you just do this like for today?" And I said, "Yeah." The next week they said, "Do you want to be our resident queen?" I said, "Yes." So then that's the same with Evie's as
Wow.
well. So I think that it's that hard thing of just going out and getting it. And although Melbourne is, I guess I'd say a mecca for like queer people, there's so much on all the time. The influx, and I'm a part of this from COVID and people having more time and I guess people through COVID just have more time to think as well and be like, oh, I actually can just do whatever I want, and I
Yeah.
guess it was so hard to people like, oh, I'm just gonna go for it. And a lot of people through COVID started doing drag and there was a massive influx and there are so many drag queens everywhere now. So I think it's gotten harder to actually like keep residencies and things like that and keep your regular gigs because there's someone that's going to come up and they're going to be younger than you and they're going to be like not necessarily better in every single way, but like I'm a performer and I'm like known for doing my tricks and my stunts and stuff like that, and then someone's going to come in and they're going to be able to do exactly what I can do but probably more. And and that kind of leads me into the next part of like the hard thing is like the undercutting and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
and again, like I've said a million times, like you would know with producing shows and selling them to clients and things like that, you're like, oh, I can do this for this amount of money. Um,
Mm.
and you've got an amazing product, which in this thing would be myself, and I know I'm going to do a good job. And yes, you're probably going to have to pay a bit more for that, but I've got all this experience, things like that. Whereas they might just get someone else because they're cheaper, and then their event doesn't go any further. But they and
Mm.
like what I mean, they've not invested in it. They've just like tried to get something that was a bit cheaper, and that never works out. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that is a bit of a hard thing at the industry within the industry at the moment because yeah, as I've said, drag is just so unregulated. Like there's no rules, there's no kind of like union like kind of vibes. Like there's really
Mm.
nothing. So if I've been doing it for so long now, and I charge a certain rate for my hens parties and things like that. And for
Yeah.
people that aren't in the know or don't really know anything, they'll just be like, "Oh, that's a lot of money. I'm just going to get this person." But this person probably
Mm.
hasn't done a hens party, and they're just doing it just because they can. So there's just that part of it that gets a bit hard sometimes when you're like, if you just like give me the chance and like invest the money
Let
in
me
there.
show you. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that part of it is pretty hard, and I feel like it is getting a little bit harder because yeah, people just don't want to pay for anything.
Yeah.
Events, especially I'm hoping that it doesn't follow suit, but like there's in Sydney at the moment, there's like gay bars just closing down. Like we lost
Oh.
Arc the other day, and we've lost a couple of events over there that were more regular. I'm not that well versed in. I just see
Mm.
it through social media and stuff, but just
Yeah.
because people can't afford to do it anymore, I guess like cost of living and
Yeah.
things like
Right.
that, and entertainment is like at the end of the day, it is a luxury, but
Yeah. It's
then
the first
that
thing to go.
comes Yeah, but then that comes back to us being like, well, this is our money, like we need to do it. So, and then
Yeah.
you don't want to put yourself down and,
Yeah.
you know, try and like be like, oh no, I'll just do it for less, then it's all right, because then you're just undercutting the whole industry, because that's what
Yeah.
people don't realize is once they start undercutting it, they're like, oh well, this person's done this, so I'm gonna try and go lower and lower, and then there's
And
nothing.
then, yeah. And then you're like doing it for free and you're like, well, great.
Absolutely, a good old
Mm.
exposure gig. No pay, but it's great exposure.
And that's great exposure.
Oh my God. Been
What a
there. Been
time.
there.
Well, what's the favorite thing about drag? What do you absolutely love? Is it the process? Is it the creating? Is it the performing? What is it?
Um, oh my God, I love all of it.
Yeah,
Um, I think it's just such a combination of everything. Like I love the performing because I really do get to like say to myself that, 10 years ago I moved to Melbourne and like I wanted to be a performer, and like that's what I'm doing now full time. So I love that part of it. But when it gets down to it, and it sounds like so like icky and like gross and you're like shut up, but really is, and I've said it for so long now, especially since COVID and stuff like that. And, life can be like so crappy, And I
yeah,
just think that if I can go out there and I can perform and, me doing a jump split off the bar, or me doing a cartwheel, or me saying something on the funny on the mic, if someone can like take that and be like, this was like a good like time, even if it is just for 3 minutes watching me perform, they forget about like whatever's going on. Like that's like such a special part to me, because like life
yeah,
can be so bad, but
yeah.
if I can make someone happy for like just that couple of minutes and things like that. And I think that that is the thing through drag. I've had so many, I get to be a part of, like it's like with hens parties, like I get to be a part of someone's special day. Like you only get one of those. Well, hopefully you only get one hens party, but
Fingers crossed.
that's like, yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, actually, if they don't, like, it's more work for me. But no, but like in that in that respect, like that's such a pivotal part of like someone's life, and like I get to be a part of that, and I do. As much as some people, don't enjoy doing those kind of gigs, like I really do, because I get to be such a part of that. And even just performing in like queer spaces and being able to create more spaces for people in the queer community, that's just like so special to me. But I also do love the outfits, and I do love the wigs, and I love like just, yeah, like all that kind of stuff is just like, yeah, no, so exciting. But I guess when it comes down to it, like you get to make people's days, and like that's really the crux of it, I guess.
Yeah. Do you have any like rituals that you do before a show or like even like at a show? Like what's your go-to? I know that I've seen so many times you've just dropped and split, but every time you do it, I'm like, ow, but I'm also like, no, 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 he's professional. He knows
Yeah.
how to make it work. Especially
Yeah.
from the bar. Holy
Oh,
moly, you just sitting on the bar and the next minute you're cracking a split.
it's a
Ow.
bit. I know. Yeah, no, like so rituals. I guess stretching.
Yep.
Course. I do have to get a good stretch in before, and there was a long time where I didn't. And you would know I've had two knee surgeries, so
Hmm.
after my second one, because I was already doing drag when I had my second knee surgery. But the second knee surgery was so much easier than the first one with the meniscus tear, they sewed it back together. So I had like
Yep.
3 months off. Whereas the second one, I went in and I said, let's get it out. So they
Yep.
just cut all of the cartilage out, and I literally walked out of the surgery. So after that, I was like, you need to stretch and you need to really take care of it. And I do a lot of stuff with that, like going and see my osteo and things like that, which reminds me I need to book in for that. Um, but yeah, he was like, if you're going to be doing all this, like you need to make sure that you're stretching and things like that, which obviously, yes, but as a dancer, you're like, oh, it's okay, it's cool, I can do it, and until you can't. And then
Yeah.
you go to a
Hmm.
dance class. So I remember I haven't been to a dance class in a while, like, a technical dance class, but I did go to one, and like it was probably like a year or so after I stopped, when we stopped doing like Rob's classes and things like that.
Oh
And I was like,
yeah.
Oh my God, I did like a ballet class and I was like, oh my gosh, how was I doing this every morning for 2 years and then can't even do that? But yeah, definitely rituals like getting in the mood for that. It's just like stretching and things like that. But yeah, like my go-to stuff is definitely a cartwheel, definitely a split, of course, like an eight
Yeah.
count. There's a lot of people around that will like try and like they'll just like imitate my like eight count. But I said, hey, if it works, it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's like
absolutely.
that's my definitely my go-tos and things like that. But I love it.
That's so fun to watch. Every time your videos come up, I'm like, oh, get it,
Thanks,
poo.
Han. I love it. That's so good. I love it, and I still get to like, yeah, it's just being able to perform is just like the best part of it, because that's what I love to do the most. But yeah, as you would know, we love a performance.
We love a performance. We love a performance. Well, what's in your drag queen bag? Like, what's the 101 you don't go to a gig without?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm actually a stickler for taking too much. I should have like got it out, but I have like a makeup bag and it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. Like even if I'm going to like a 1 hour gig, I'm still like in the car taking like everything. Um, But I do like always, if I had to take like five things, pop them in a little bag, I definitely take like some bronzer, a
Yep.
little bit of a bronzer. I love blush, so a little bit of blush. Spirit gum. You know what spirit gum is?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
for
please
my
explain.
oh, actually
For the people who
here's one
don't
I
know, please
prepared
explain.
earlier. So this is a small one. This is what I would take. For people that can't see, it is spirit gum. So you pop that on, and that puts your wig down. So you pop that
Hmm.
on, and then you like put something over it, like a tea towel, like a dishcloth, a dry one, and then that'll glue it there so your wig doesn't come off. And my wig has never come off because I take my time doing that. But also, that is the bane of my existence and my most hated thing about drag. If I could do drag without that, because that, like, one, it's so annoying to get off when I haven't had a haircut. It sticks to my hair and, like, can't get off. But two, if you get that on anything, like, it's done. Like, so
It's
if
done.
you're putting that wig on and you've got your outfit on, I'm like over and I'm like, don't you dare, like, don't you dare get off. So, there are definitely things that are there, and I always have my USB there just to pop in and say, DJ, play the track, let's go. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely the things that I have there.
No,
Oh,
amazing.
and some
Amazing.
Britney Spears perfume.
Oh, why not? You got to have that. You
Of
got to have
course, of course.
it. Well, what's one thing you wish people knew about, like the behind the scenes or the drag world? Like, what's one thing you're like, if you only knew this, dot, dot, dot.
Mm, you only knew this. I guess I would say it's kind of 50-50 with what I'm going to say is people like I guess it's the same like going back. I guess that's why I'm here because it's to do with the industry and being a
Mm.
dancer is that people just don't understand how much goes in before it. Like there's just so much and I think that doing it full time I'm constantly thinking about drag and things like that. Like when I get a haircut I'm getting it shorter on the sides because that's where my wig will go or I'm like,
Yeah.
I've got to shave all the time and things like that. So there's so much that goes on behind it. And now it only takes me, I could probably get ready in the fast that I've been ready, probably an hour and a half I'm talking
Yeah,
from
right.
like shower, shave, full face, and then like in outfit. Probably didn't look
Yeah.
that good, but I still did it. But like I like to allow like at least 3 to 4 hours to get ready because I hate rushing. So
Yeah.
when you're doing that, and if you're only doing an hour gig, like you've spent more time getting ready. So when people
Mm.
don't kind of, I guess, respect that and like kind of give you your flowers and stuff like that. And obviously I'm me, so I want to be told I'm gorgeous and beautiful every day.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
especially when I put 3 hours of work in, and I think that comes back to what I was saying about the payment and things like that. Again, it's like,
Mm.
you've or like I'm going to this gig and they're paying you for an hour, but I've already put 3 hours of work in, plus like drove here as well. So you kind of like
Yeah.
that has to go into it. But yeah, I think that's definitely it. Just if they knew a little, like if they knew a little bit more. But again, like I think I'm very lucky within my community and like the gigs that I've done too. I felt there's only been honestly a handful of times, and I've been obviously doing it for like 5 years. that I can say that I've felt, disrespected, or like people hadn't really, res like sort like see my value in like what I was doing, because again,
Yeah.
like it does when you're getting entertainment and things like that, they just see the final product and that's it. But there's so
Mm.
much that goes into it and things like that. And especially with drag, like you're on the whole time. Like you don't get, as if I'm hosting for the whole night, like I am Eliza, and that's just doing that is, or putting myself into that kind of space and pushing myself there is like already exhausting. So like it's just something, as it'd be like, when you're in musical theater and you're playing a character, you don't get to be yourself or till
Mm.
until you're fully done.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
You're invested. Mm.
You're invested. Yeah, absolutely invested. It's too late to go back now.
Too late to go back.
So
Well, for the dancer that's listening, what is three things you would tell them to help them on their own journey of drag, or give them a heads up about the drag world? Like someone's fresh coming in or thinking about starting drag. What would be advice?
I think is like I think one, like number one is like it takes time, and
Yeah.
not to like rush the process. There's so many people like I've done it and like made a leap and done it full time, and that's not for everyone. And drag can still just be a hobby, as can dance and things like that. So I feel like the
Mhm.
first thing would be like take your time with any part of it. Um, Another like little bit of advice, I guess I would just, I don't know, I guess I feel like that's like the biggest one that I could just go on about for ages, just taking the time and learn and knowing what you like. I guess another thing would be like there's no right way to do it. There's like
Yeah.
with drag, the drag that I do. And like for example, there's I work with like two of my really good friends, Tilly Capulet and Bathsheba, on a Sunday, and we all work together and we're all super close and super good friends, but all our drag is completely different. And so
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
of my friends, it's just, yeah, you can just like, you can find your own way to do it, because there's no wrong way to do it. And I guess third and final thing would be like just actually have fun. And it sounds like
Good advice.
so, because drag is like we are just making fun of it. It's just like it is silly, and like I guess in with that, but don't take it too seriously, because I mean, don't take it too seriously as in like there are serious parts of it, and I have had,
Yeah.
people message me and be like, seriously, like you like being at this event, or just giving me the time of day, and like talking to me like on a night out or something like that. Like, thank you so much. Like I was going through this and that, like that stuff. But it's
So
just, and
special.
absolutely, and that's so special, and I do take that part seriously, and I do feel that drag queens, that we stand up for like a lot of the beliefs and of like the LGBTQIA plus community. We definitely are, people that because we're so confident, I guess, and people see that and see that as like a just see like a beacon of the community. I don't know, but they see us as someone that they can go to, and people do love to tell me their troubles and things like that, and I'm always there for them, always there for a chat. And that part of it is so serious, but
Yeah.
also at the same time, you're just having fun. You're just popping a wig on, like just
Yeah.
like have fun with it and things like that. And it's not that serious, until it is.
Until it is.
Until it is, until you need to make it seriously, but just, yeah, just honestly have fun with it, because it is so fun, and you can have like the best time, and that's really all it is. As long as you're having fun, they're having fun. I feel like I'm like every teacher that has ever like come and done like a motivational speak. Like, if you're having fun, they're having fun. But it's actually so
It's
true.
true.
And
It's so true.
it's so true. And that goes back to like what I was saying before, as maybe if I was pushed more to do drag when I was, going through full time, and things like that. But I don't think I was actually like ready in that. I think it's a little revelation I've just kind of had to, because I haven't like talked about it properly. But there we go. It's an epiphany. I don't think, because I'm like completely different to the person that I was when I was in full time. Like when we met, like super different. I wasn't even like out
Yeah.
of the closet. Like I didn't come out until I was like 21 or 22 or something like that. I did obviously people kind of knew and just assumed, but
Mm.
yeah, like I think that I like looking back now, I definitely wasn't ready to pursue that side of it, and it did take me a little bit of time, but I'm here now, and like I guess I could be like very grateful that that wasn't pushed, a little epiphany that happened. Love
Well,
that. Shocker, it was with you. Shocker.
shocker, shocker. What are the odds?
I know.
No, well, I really want to thank you for coming on today, and everyone, make sure you go and check out Sean's Instagram, both of his Instagrams, both Eliza Lot and his personal one too. It's really amazing to see what you do in the industry, and it's quite inspiring. And I think for anyone who wants to get into drag or just wants to have a great little like scroll through social media and see something very fun and entertaining and lighthearted too, definitely check it
Absolutely.
out because it's great.
Yes, absolutely. And my DMs are always open if anyone has any questions or anything about that. Like, I'm more than happy to answer those questions.
Oh, that's so lovely of you.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you for having me on here because this is
Oh,
amazing and I
you're
love the
welcome.
platform that you've always been that kind of person. I knew this is exactly something that you would do. As soon as it popped up, I was like, yeah, I see that. Always had that maternal instinct and like help wanting to be there and helping people. So I value you and I value our friendship so much. So
Oh, I appreciate it. And likewise, likewise. I feel like, there's really special people out there and you're definitely one of them. So I'm so glad
absolutely.
that our paths crossed it all those 10 years ago and everything as well.
I know. And we're still here.
And we're still here, boo.
That's it.
No, well, thank you and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.